Num num cookie.
Oh my God!
Cookie.
Wow, gay. That is freaky.
Let's suit up and dive into the world of The Incredibles to speculate on what might happen in the third, much-anticipated installment. Get ready for some mind-blowing theories and a lot of excitement. But first, will there be an Incredibles 3? There must be. The show must go on, right? The Incredibles 2 practically left us on a cliffhanger, and not continuing the franchise would be a huge crime. The second installment left us with plenty of questions too, and our minds have been creating theories ever since we watched the movie in theaters. Pixar's The Incredibles is one of the most popular and successful franchises in the entire history of cinema. Not only did this film break many records at the box office, it also became one of the most critically acclaimed animated films. With its impressive 97% tomato meter reading on Rotten Tomatoes, the story of the Parr family took the world by storm. More importantly, the sequel to the film was even more successful than its predecessor. Per Box Office Mojo, the film grossed over $630 million against a $92 million budget, and that's pretty neat. But before we continue with our video, we should mention that the first film was released in 2004, and it took the creators 14 freaking years before they started working on Incredibles 2. However, the sequel proved that the wait was worth it, and to be honest, we wouldn't mind if the creators spend 1.5 decades working on the third installment as long as they give us a proper continuation. The good news is that we won't have to wait long to see what the future brings for the superhero family. Do we have a potential release date? Let's find out. The director, who worked on the previous 2 films, and the producer were kind of interested in a sequel. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly in 2018, they said nothing's confirmed, but there's a great chance Incredibles 3 could happen in the future. There are a lot of reports that claim the age gap between the sequel and the third installment would be the same gaps as the one between The Incredibles and Incredibles 2. I wouldn't ever rule it out, Walker said, adding, and if the past is prologue, it'll be another 14 years, and a lot of people will probably need oxygen to make a third one. So why the hell did it take them 14 years to create the sequel? What took them so long? Well, it turns out they wanted to create a proper story, a story that won't disappoint a single fan. In the EW interview, Bird said that the same applies for Incredibles 3. The creator also revealed several challenges they needed to face when making Incredibles 2. It's like the episode of I Love Lucy when she's got the candies piling up on the conveyor belt, Bird said, explaining they took a year off of their schedule. So, if an idea didn't work quickly, then they had to just kill the darling and move on to the next. And I killed like a city full of darlings. We're as good as long as Bird is on board for Incredibles 3. Are the Parrs on board for the third installment? So, who else is interested in a continuation? Likely most of the already familiar cast ensemble. If there's a third entry, we expect to see the Parrs return in their original form. So, that's Craig, Holly, Sarah, Huck, Helen, Violet, and Dash respectively. And again, it all depends on how long it'll take Pixar to make this story. There's a chance that Dash will be recast as he was for the second installment. This is because the casting team decided to cast a new person that's the correct age of a 10-year-old. We would love to see Samuel L. Jackson reprising his role of Frozone, and we'd expect to see Brad play his character again. There have been several actors showing interest in reprising their roles, including Sophia, who played the superhero Void in the previous installment. In an interview with EW, she revealed how great of a moment it was for those girls to start hopefully collaborating, whether that's in the continuum left for the second movie or in an eventual third, which she believes will happen. Before we jump into some crazy plot details, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Keep the convo going by leaving a comment or two, sharing your hopes and theories for Incredibles 3. As you already know, the ending of the sequel perfectly sets up a plot base for Incredibles 3. Just like the first installment, the sequel leaves with an open ending, promising more adventures and yet another continuation. Considering the huge age gap between the first and the second film, there are a lot of interesting theories regarding the plot of Incredibles 3. When you think about it, the first and second film ended in a similar way, with the whole family together preparing to continue fighting crime. Luckily, the second film did an amazing thing by erasing the idea of supers being illegal. The fact that this is legal now promises a lot of fun storylines in the next movie. As you clearly remember, this was a big deal in the 2 previous flicks. Remember when Mr. Incredible was sneaking behind his wife's back trying to illegally solve different types of crime? In the sequel, Elastigirl went through a similar thing. Now that the whole legal-illegal thing has been solved, we can't help but wonder what Incredibles 3 will focus on. What will happen to the fan-favorite characters? What does the future hold for them? When answering these questions, we have to include Underminer. Let's not ignore the big elephant in the room, right? His boring vehicle is mentioned in the post-credit scene. In an interview with Bustle in 2018, Brad Bird said he was not ready for a sequel yet. In his own words, asking him if they'll make a sequel is the same as asking a person who just ate a large living room-sized hamburger what they want for lunch. It's not a good time to talk about it. It's been 5 years since this interview. So I think now is the perfect time for Bird to start considering the idea for a sequel. Do you? Let's jump into some crazy mind-blowing theories, shall we? Luckily, Bird has been constantly sharing some incredible ideas for the next entry in his franchise. Thanks to his ideas, fans have been coming up with various theories about the future of Bob, Helen, Violet, and Dash. Initially, the creator was against the idea of a time jump, but if there's a 1-decade gap between the sequels, a time jump seems like a good idea, as fans would love to see baby Jack older. I also think it's time for Jack to move to the dark side, causing havoc in the family home. But as mentioned before, all roads lead to Underminer. His return would make an awesome continuation with wild storylines that'll keep us on the edge of our seats. That's for sure. The well-known villain has appeared in both the 2004 original and the sequel. In the sequel, however, Underminer made a short 2D cameo. Bird discussed the Underminer cameo and confirmed this means that although the character escaped, he is roaming somewhere. In the previously mentioned interview with EW, Bird discussed the various challenges that faced production-wise and said there were plenty of great ideas that were not used in the second installment. The creator was especially enthusiastic about the new characters they designed but never got to use. In his own words, some of them were really funny and cool and explored certain things. He finished the interview by saying, "There might be an opportunity to use it. Do you guys think The Incredibles deserves to go beyond its second installment? Let us know." That wraps up our speculation about what might happen in Incredibles 3. We hope you're as excited as we are for the next adventure with this super-powered family. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for more heroic discussions. See ya!